I died with my daughter's hands clamped around my throat, her manicured nails digging into my skin like the claws of some suburban hellcat. The last thing I saw was her face, twisted not in rage, but in cold, calculated triumph, as she hissed, "The doghouse is your new home, Mom." 24 hours later, she was the one sleeping rough on the streets of Phoenix. But in that moment, as the world faded to black, all I could think was how I'd raised a monster. And then, like a glitch in the universe's cruel code, I woke up gasping in a body that wasn't broken yet, 42 years old, staring at my reflection in the cracked bathroom mirror of our old split level in Scottsdale, Arizona. The year 2005 blinking back at me like a second chance wrapped in barbed wire. It hit me like a freight train derailing in the dead of night. The scars from the fall down the stairs, the one Emily had accidentally caused when she pushed me during our final argument over the deed to the house, weren't there. My hands, trembling as I touched my unbruised neck, were smooth, unmarred by the years of scratching out a living after my husband bailed. I was back. Reborn. Or whatever you want to call this cosmic do-over. The clock on the wall read 7:15 a.m., and through the window, I could see Emily, my sweet, scheming 16-year-old Emily, still asleep in her room. Posters of boy bands curling at the edges like forgotten promises. She'd kill me again if I let her. But this time, I'd bury her first. Not literally, I'm no murderer. Not yet anyway, but I'd drag every skeleton from our family closet into the light, starting with the one that made her think she could play God with my life. That morning, I didn't wake her with the usual burnt toast and forced small talk. Instead, I sat at the kitchen table, nursing a cup of Folgers so black it matched my mood, and started plotting. The betrayal hadn't come out of nowhere. It had been brewing since Emily was a kid, fed by the poison I'd unwittingly poured into our lives. My husband, Jack, had split when she was 8, running off with his secretary to Vegas with half our savings and a forged check that left me drowning in debt. I'd clawed my way back, waitressing double shifts at the local Denny's, then scraping together enough for a real estate license. By 2025, I'd built us a life, a paid-off house in a gated community, a nest egg tucked away for her college. But Emily, she'd seen it all as her due, not mine. She'd whisper to her friends about how I was holding her back, how the old lady in sweatpants was cramping her style. And when I got sick, cancer, stage 3, the kind that eats you from the inside, she'd waited until the chemo made me frail, until the will was in her hands. And then, that push, that whisper, the doghouse. But secrets have a way of rotting from the inside out, and ours was a doozy. Jack hadn't just left. He'd been running a side hustle, cooking the books for a shady developer in town. Ponzi scheme stuff, promising retirees dream condos in the desert that never broke ground. When the feds came knocking in 2008, it was me they pinned it on, because I'd signed the joint account. Community property laws in Arizona are a bitch. And suddenly I was the felon, the pariah, scraping by on probation while Emily grew up resenting the criminal mom who couldn't afford prom dresses. She'd never forgiven me for that fall from grace. Even though I'd taken the rap to keep Jack's name clean for her sake, I told myself, liar. It was for mine, too. Pride's a hell of a drug. By noon, I was in the attic, dust motes dancing like ghosts in the slanted light filtering through the vent. I pulled down the old banker's box labeled Taxes 03-05 and rifled through it like a woman possessed. There it was, the envelope, yellowed and sealed with that cheap Scotch tape Jack favored. Inside, a stack of floppy disks, ancient tech now. But back then, they held the keys to his kingdom of lies. Emails, ledgers, wire transfers to offshore accounts. Proof that I'd been the patsy, the mule for his greed. Emily didn't know about this, no one did. I'd buried it deep, told myself it was water under the bridge. But in my old life, that bridge had collapsed under me, courtesy of her. I slipped one disk into my ancient Dell desktop, the one that hummed like a dying beehive, and watched the files load. Names jumped out. Victor Hale, the developer who'd gone legit after Jack's disappearance, now a big-shot councilman with a mansion on Camelback Mountain. And there, buried in a subfolder, Ease Trust, Emily's name, tied to a slush fund Jack had siphoned off. 20 grand, earmarked for her future. He'd planned to come back for it, I guess. But the desert swallowed him whole, body never found. Just rumors of a carjacking gone wrong. Or maybe Victor had tied up loose ends. The thought sent a shiver down my spine, but it also lit a fire. If Emily wanted to play inheritance games, I'd rewrite the rules. Downstairs, Emily finally stirred, her footsteps thumping like accusations on the carpeted stairs. Mom, what's for breakfast? I have cheer practice. Her voice, all bubblegum and entitlement, sliced through me. I closed the computer, pasted on a smile that felt like shattered glass, and turned. She was there in the doorway, ponytail swinging, UGG boots scuffed from last night's mall run. 16 and already a carbon copy of the girls who'd snubbed me in high school, blonde, blue-eyed, with that Arizona tan that screamed privilege. Pancakes, I said, voice steady as rebar. But first, we need to talk about your dad. Her eyes narrowed. Just a flicker. But I caught it. The seed of resentment, already sprouting. What about him? He's gone. Mom. Ancient history. Not quite. Sweetie. I slid the envelope across the table, watching her face drain of color as she peeked inside. Turns out, he left you something. But so did I. A choice. She snatched it, flipping through the papers with fingers that would one day choke the life from me. What is this crap? Floppy disks? Like, from the Stone Age. Proof, I said simply, that your father's a thief, and I'm the one who paid for it. But you get to decide if we dig it up or let it rot. That was the hook I sank into her, curiosity laced with greed. She pocketed the envelope, muttering about practice, but I saw the wheels turning. Good. Let her stew. My first move in this Game of Thrones wasn't confrontation, it was temptation. I'd let her chase the ghost of Jack's money, lead her straight to Victor Hale, the spider at the center of our web. And when she got tangled, I'd cut the threads. The rest of the day blurred into routine laced with undercurrents of war. I drove her to practice, the AC blasting against the 100-degree heat, radio tuned to some pop station she loved, Britney Spears whining about toxic relationships. Ironic as hell. At the field, I watched her cartwheel and high kick, all energy and facade, while I nursed a secret smile. In my old life, I cheered from the bleachers, blind to the venom building. Not this time. By evening, as the sun dipped behind the saguaros, painting the sky blood orange, Emily cornered me in the kitchen. This stuff about Dad. It's real? Like, money real? I leaned against the counter, arms crossed, channeling the calm of a woman who'd stared down death twice. Real as the foreclosure notice we dodged last year. But touching it means questions.
Feds.
Maybe. Victor Hale's name is all over it. Her eyes lit up at Victor's name. She'd heard the whispers. The billboards for his Hale Developments empire. The council guy? He's loaded. What if we, talk to him?
Bingo.
We could. But secrets like this? They bite back. She shrugged. All teenage bravado. Whatever. I'm not scared. Famous last words.
Kiddo.
That night, as I lay in bed listening to the coyotes yip in the distance, I mapped it out. Step 1. Dangle the bait. Step 2. Reel her in toward Victor. Let her make the ask. He'd recognize the ledgers.
Panic.
And that's when I'd step in, with copies I'd already stashed on a USB drive. Modern tech in my pocket. Victor was the key. He'd laundered Jack's dirt. Built his career on it. Expose him. And Emily's inheritance crumbles like desert sand. But it had to be slow. Surgical. No rushing the revenge. It was a marathon. Not a sprint. The next week unfolded like a slow-burn thriller. The kind they make in Hollywood with sweeping drone shots of the Sonoran Desert. Emily, hooked, started digging on her own. I found her in her room one afternoon, hunched over my old laptop, printing grainy emails. Mom, this is insane. Dad was, like, Robin Hood or something. More like the Sheriff of Nottingham, I quipped. But inside, triumph surged. She was in deep, texting friends about big family drama, oblivious to the trap. I played the doting mom, packing her lunches with notes that read like subtle nudges. Proud of you for being brave. Bullshit. But it kept her off balance. Meanwhile, I networked old real estate contacts. A PI buddy from my probation days named Rico, who owed me for covering his ass once. Delilah, you look different, he said over coffee at a strip mall Starbucks, his mustache twitching. Like you swallowed a ghost. Something like that, I replied, sliding him a photo of Victor. Find me dirt. The kind that sticks.
Rico nodded.
No questions. In Arizona, everyone has skeletons. It's the heat that bakes them loose. Emily's first move came sooner than expected. A school event, some booster club mixer at the country club, where Victor was guest speaker, schmoozing donors with tales of revitalizing Scottsdale. She begged me to go. Dress code smart casual, her eyes gleaming with purpose. I obliged, slipping into a sundress that hid the new tattoo on my wrist, a tiny phoenix, inked that morning as a private fuck you to fate. The club was all chandeliers and Chardonnay, the air thick with perfume and pretense. Victor Hale took the stage, silver-haired fox in a Brooks Brothers suit, spinning yarns about sustainable sprawl. Emily cornered him after, envelope clutched like a talisman. I watched from the bar, nursing a gin and tonic, as she flashed that megawatt smile. Mr.
Hale?
My dad was Jack Delaney. He worked with you back in the day. Victor's face didn't crack, but I saw the micro-twitch. The way his hand tightened on his glass. Delaney? Refresh my memory. Young lady. She spilled just enough. The ledgers.
The trust.
He played it cool. Handed her his card. Call my office Monday. We'll chat. She floated back to me, victorious. He knows something?
Mom.
This is gonna change everything.
Oh. It will?
I thought.
Just not how you think.
Monday came like a monsoon, sudden, drenching, turning the parched earth to mud. Emily was up at dawn, primping in the bathroom mirror, spritzing vanilla body spray like it was armor. "Wish me luck," she said, grabbing her keys to the beat-up Honda I'd bought her with overtime pay. "Luck's for amateurs," I replied, handing her a thermos of coffee laced with my unspoken dread. "But yeah. Nail it." She peeled out of the driveway, tires spitting gravel, and I waited exactly 10 minutes before firing up my own car, a sensible Toyota Camry, invisible in traffic. Victor's office was downtown, a glass tower rising like a middle finger to the old town charm. I parked 2 blocks away, slipped on sunglasses and a baseball cap, and tailed her inside. The lobby was all marble and muzak, security guards eyeballing everyone like potential thieves. Emily signed in, got her visitor badge, and vanished into the elevators. I didn't follow. Instead, I loitered in a coffee shop across the street, nursing an espresso and my phone, where Rico's first text pinged, "Hail's clean on paper." But whispers, "Jack's disappearance, not so clean." Me tonight? Adrenaline hummed in my veins, that reborn clarity sharpening everything to a razor's edge. In my past life, I'd trusted too much doctors, lawyers, my own flesh and blood. This time, paranoia was my superpower. I watched the tower through the window, imagining the scene upstairs, Emily in a leather chair, Victor behind a desk the size of a Cadillac, probing her like a dentist with a drill. What she didn't know, what I'd never told her, was the full rot of Jack's dealings. It wasn't just bad investments. He'd been skimming from vulnerable folks, widows like I'd become, promising flips on foreclosed properties that he never delivered. Victor fronted the cash, took the cuts, and when Jack got cold feet, poof, gone. I'd suspected Victor back then, hired a PI, who came up empty.
But now,
with 20 years of hindsight and a grudge like a third lung, I saw the threads. Emily was walking into a lion's den, waving red meat. My phone buzzed again. "Emily, he's being weird. Asking tons of questions about you. Heart pounding." I typed back, "Play it cool. Get out if it feels off." But she didn't reply. Minutes stretched like taffy. I paced the coffee shop, ignoring the barista's side eye, mind racing through contingencies. If Victor spooked, he might come at us sideways, intimidation,
bribes. Worse.
In Arizona, developers like him owned the sheriffs. 45 minutes in, she emerged, face flushed, envelope gone. I ducked into the restroom, waited a beat, then tailed her to the car. She drove erratic, checking the rear view too often.
At home.
She slammed the door, tossing her bag on the couch. "He took the stuff,"
Mom
said he'd look into it. But get this, he knows you. Like, remembers the whole mess with Dad. I feigned surprise, brewing tea to buy time. "What did he say?" "That you're tough. Survived it all." She flopped down, eyes distant. "Offered me an internship.
Paid.
Starts next summer."
Bait. Pure.
Glittering bait. Victor wasn't cornered. He was countering, pulling her into his orbit.
Smart bastard.
Sounds promising. But careful, he's got a rep. She rolled her eyes. Classic teen dismissal. "You're so paranoid." This could be our ticket out of broke-ass suburbia. That night, Over Rico's greasy tacos at a dive-off I-17. I spilled the basics. Hale's dirty. Jack's files prove it. But if Emily's in, she's leverage.
Rico chut feli.
His gold tooth glinting. Leverage cuts both ways.
Delilah.
Girls scream. He smells blood. He'll use her to flush you out, which is why I need more. Deep dive bank records. Witnesses. Anything tying him to Jack's vanishing act. He quoted a price I could afford, scraped from my real estate commissions, and we shook on it. Driving home under a canopy of stars that felt too vast, too indifferent, I wrestled with the morality. Was I saving Emily or damning her? In my old life, I'd shielded her from the ugliness, lied about Jack's business trips, pretended our poverty was temporary. She'd grown up soft, entitled, resenting my weakness. This time, exposure was the cure, bitter medicine to forge her or break her. The internship became Emily's obsession. She aced her junior year, SATs soaring on the promise of escape. I played along, attending parent-teacher nights with a smile. But underneath, I was hollowing out Victor's foundation. Rico delivered in drips, a retired bookkeeper who'd seen Jack arguing with Victor weeks before the disappearance, grainy CCTV from a bar showing them together, tense and liquored up. And then, the gem, a witness statement buried in an old PD file, and signed, claiming Victor's crew had torched Jack's car in the desert to stage the carjacking. Blackmail material, Rico said over the phone, voice low. But use it wrong. You end up like Delaney. I filed it away, waited for the right moment. Summer hit like a hammer. Emily interning at Hale Developments, filing, fetching coffee, eyes wide at the corner offices. She came home buzzing. Victor's awesome.
Mom.
Mentors, everyone. He even asked about you, said you should come by. The invitation landed like a gauntlet. I accepted, showing up in pencil skirt and pearls, the phoenix tattoo hidden under silk. Victor's office smelled of leather and ambition, walls lined with awards for community service. He rose to greet me, handshake firm, eyes appraising.
Delilah.
Been too long. Emily's a star, takes after you. I bet. Flattery. The oldest con. She's got Jack's drive, I said, settling into the chair. Speaking of those files she brought. Any luck? His smile didn't reach his eyes. Ancient history. But if there's money owed, we'll sort it. Family first. Right? We danced the dance. Polite probes. Veiled threats. He offered a settlement. 50 grand. Wired clean. If I signed an NDA bearing the ledgers. I countered with silence, letting him sweat. Think it over, he said finally, escorting me out. Emily's future's bright. Don't dim it.
Outside.
In the blistering heat, I texted Rico. Push harder. He's cracking. Emily, oblivious, gushed about Victor over dinner, his yacht parties, his connections to ASU boosters. This is it.
Mom.
No more scraping by. Her excitement was a knife twist. In my memories, that same glow had turned to greed, fueling the push down the stairs. But doubt crept in. Was I the villain here? Manufacturing monsters from girls? The breaking point came in August. A scorcher that warped the horizon. Rico called at midnight. Got a name, Lopez. Victor's old enforcer. Says for $10K.
He'll talk.
On record. I drained my savings. Met Lopez in a dusty motel off Route 66. The kind with neon signs flickering vacancy, like a bad omen. He was paunchy,
tattooed.
nursing a beer. Hale didn't kill Delaney, he rasped, voice like gravel. But he wished he had. Jack was skimming extra, threatening to flip. Victor paid me to scare him, rough him up, leave him stranded. Next morning, body's gone. Desert swallows secrets. Tape rolling on my phone, hidden in my purse. Gold. Why now? Lopez shrugged. Retirement fund. And Hale's getting sloppy, new council run, digging up old dirt. I paid him cash. Drove home with the windows down, wind whipping my hair like freedom. But victory tasted sour. Emily's internship had deepened. She was Victor's protégé, lunching with his execs, dreaming of Ivy League. Confront her now, and she'd choose him, glamour over grit. So I waited, stoking the fire subtly. Slipped her a printout of the ledgers, annotated with questions. Just curious.
Hun.
Victor mentioned these? She brushed it off. But I saw the fracture, late nights scrolling her phone, biting her nails. September brought monsoons. Flash floods turning washes into rivers of rage. Emily came home soaked one night, eyes red. Victor's pissed. Found out I copied the files to my email. My heart skipped. Had she? What did you say? That it was you. Her voice cracked. Accusation sharp. Was it? Mom, are you screwing this up? The room tilted. Echoes of my deathbed whisper. But I held steady. Protecting you.
Eminencia.
From ghosts. She stormed out, slamming her door. I sat in the dark kitchen, thunder rumbling like laughter from the gods. The game was accelerating, and I was all in, no turning back. The storms didn't let up, mirroring the tempest in our house. Emily barely spoke to me for days, holing up in her room with headphones blasting whatever angsty indie rock kids listened to back then, something about breaking free.
Fittingly,
I'd catch her staring out the window at the rain-lashed cacti, face a mask of confusion and budding fury. Victor had her doubting me, planting seeds of betrayal that would bloom into that fateful push 20 years hence. But I wasn't the fragile old woman anymore. I was the storm, gathering force. Rico's next drop was dynamite, bank records showing wire transfers from Hale Developments to a shell company linked to Lopez, hush money, dated days after Jack's disappearance. This'll sink him, Rico said, meeting me in a park under overcast skies, pigeons scattering like guilty thoughts. But timing's key. Drop it now. And Emily's collateral. I nodded, pocketing the flash drive. She's already poisoned. I need her to see it herself. That became my mantra, eyes wide open for her, even if it meant dragging her through hell. I started small, anonymous tips to the local paper, a blogger sniffing around Victor's council bid. Whispers spread like wildfire in dry brush. Hale's past catching up. Emily brought home the article, slapping it on the counter. This you? Sabotaging me? Honest journalism, I said coolly, chopping onions for chili. Victor's not a saint. Neither was your dad. She snatched the knife from my hand, overreaction. But it froze me. A preview of the end. Dad was trying. You always trash him. Maybe if you hadn't been so weak. Weak. The word exploded from me, raw as the thunder outside. I took the fall for him.
Eminencia.
5 years probation. Blackballed from every agency in town. All so you wouldn't grow up without a name. Her face crumpled. then hardened. Liar. Victor said you weren't on it. Greedy. Like everyone. There was the deep cut. Victor's lies slicing through blood ties. I wanted to shake her. Scream the truth. But restraint won. Ask him.
Then.
Straight up. See if he squirms. She did. The next day at the office. Came home white as bone. Collapsing onto the couch. He denied it. Laughed it off.
But.
He kept glancing at his phone. Like he was scared. Progress. I sat beside her. Arm tentative on her shoulder, the first touch in weeks. Fear's a teacher.
Kid.
What's it telling you? That night, we really talked for the first time since my rebirth. Over microwave popcorn and bad TV. She spilled. Victor's mentoring had veered creepy. Late emails. Innocent touches at meetings. I thought it was networking.
But now.
Rage boiled in me. Not just maternal, but vengeful. Victor wasn't just a thief, he was a predator. Using power like currency. In my old life, Emily had mirrored him, charming her way to my assets. Cycle of abuse. Desert edition. You're out, I said firmly. No more internship. She resisted, tears streaming. It's my future. You can't. I can. And I will. Or I go public with everything. Your choice. Ultimatum hung heavy. Controversial as hell. Controlling her path. Echoing the very cage I'd escaped. But rebirth had stripped my patience. This was preemptive surgery. Cutting out the cancer before it metastasized. She quit the next morning. Email terse. Victor called her cell. I heard the ring from the kitchen, pleading, then threatening. You'll regret this. Emily. Your mother's poison. She handed me the phone. Eyes steel. Tell him. I did. Back off. Victor. Or the ledgers see daylight. All of them. Silence. Then a chuckle like breaking glass. Delilah. You always were the fighter. But poke the bear.
And it bites.
Hard.
Click.
The line went dead. But the threat lingered. A shadow in the sunlight. Fall deepened. Leaves turning gold on the few trees that bothered in this arid hellscape. Emily threw herself into school. AP classes and volleyball. But tension simmered. She'd sneak peeks at my laptop. Piecing together the puzzle. One night, she found the Lopez recording. I'd left it accidentally accessible. Played it back. Her face ashen.
Mom.
He had Dad roughed up? For real? Worse, I said softly. And he might have done more. That's why we end this. Together. Alliance formed, fragile as a mesquite branch. We strategized like co-conspirators. She'd charm info from his lower-level staff. I'd feed Rico leads. It felt empowering. Mother-daughter against the world. Until the pushback hit. First, a brick through our living room window. Whore scrawled in marker. Cops came. Took statements. Chalked it to kids. Emily sobbed in my arms. The first crack in her armor. Is this because of us? Victor scared. I soothed. But inside. Fear gnawed. In my past life, isolation had been my undoing. Now, it was weaponized. Then, the audit, IRS knocking, claiming discrepancies in my real estate filings from '04. Coincidence?
Bull.
Victor's reach extended to bureaucrats. Greased palms in Phoenix. I lawyered up, cheap but sharp, and stalled them with the ledgers as leverage. Pay dirt, my attorney grinned. This ties to Hale's shell core. Emily's school life frayed, whispers of crazy family, cheer squad sidelining her. She lashed out at me once, screaming, "You ruined everything. I hate this life."
Door schlimm.
Music blaring. I sat on the stairs, head in hands, wondering if revenge was worth the wreckage. Controversial choice. I'd chosen truth over comfort. But at what cost? Was I saving her or scarring her deeper? Rico pulled me aside at our next meet. A seedy bar with peanut shells crunching underfoot. Lopez bolted. Vanished after your chat. Hale's cleaning house.
Shit.
The web tightened. We go nuclear? He shook his head. Not yet. Got a contact at the Journal. Old school reporter. Hates developers. Leak selective. Let it simmer. I agreed. But sleep evaded me. Dreams replayed my death. Emily's hands. The doghouse taunt. Her swift downfall after karma's quick kick. Evicting her when the house foreclosed amid scandal. Poetic, but Pyrrhic. November brought elections. Victor's council run peaking. Billboards everywhere. Hale, building tomorrow. Emily and I volunteered for his opponent, an environmentalist firebrand decrying sprawl. Subtle sabotage, door-knocking with flyers laced with questions about ethical development. Emily excelled. Her charisma a weapon now aimed true. Victor's retaliation was sly, a smear campaign. Anonymous posts on local forums. Delilah Delaney, felon mom poisons daughter's dreams. Emily read them at breakfast. Fork trembling. They know about the probation.
How?
Victor's digging, I said. But so are we. The twist came mid-month, a package at our door. No return address. Inside. A floppy disk, Jack's, but one I'd never seen. Label. For Emily Truth. She inserted it. We huddled over the screen. Jack's video. Grainy webcam. Baby girl. If you're seeing this, I'm gone. Your mom. She knew everything.
Push me to it.
Victor's her puppet. Don't trust her. The money's yours. Account 47291. Panama. Love. Dad. Forgery? Or truth? Jack's voice. His tick of rubbing his nose authentic. My stomach dropped. Had I, in the fog of those years, desperation blurring lines. Maybe I'd greenlit a skim or two. Told myself it was for us. Hidden secret unearthed. Not by Victor, but by ghosts. Emily stared. Betrayal dawning. You lied. All this time.
Ink.
Wait. She bolted to her room.
Door locked.
I pounded, pleaded, but the damage was done. My revenge, built on half-truths, cracked under its weight. The house felt like a tomb after that. Walls closing in with the weight of unearthed lies. Emily emerged only for school. Silent as a specter, her eyes avoiding mine like I was the monster under the bed. I'd replayed Jack's video a dozen times. Frame by frame. Searching for edits. Deepfakes, but in 2005 tech. It was raw. Unpolished. His words nod. She knew.
Did I?
Fragments surfaced in my reborn mind, late-night arguments. Me signing off on investments to keep the lights on. Whispering to Victor. Make it work. Not puppet master, but enabler. The hidden secret wasn't just Jack's crime. It was my complicity, buried under maternal denial. Guilt warred with resolve. This was the controversy at my core, revenge from a flawed avenger, tainting the justice. But backing down? That led to my death. Emily's unchecked venom.
No.
I'd fix it. Own it. Turn poison to antidote. First, confrontation. I waited till Friday night. Her return from a sleepover. Alibi for avoidance. She slipped in quietly. But I was in the living room. Lamp casting long shadows. Jack's disc on the coffee table. We need to talk. All of it. She froze. Backpack slipping.
No.
You're a liar. Dad said. Dad was a snake. And so was I. Sometimes. The admission hung. Electric. Her eyes widened shock. Then wariness. I patted the couch.
Seat.
Hear me out. Reluctant.
She did.
I spilled. The desperation post Jack's initial fleecing. How Victor dangled easy flips. How I'd turned blind eye for quick cash. Not proud. But it kept you fed.
Schooled.
When the feds hit, I shielded him. Us. Took the heat. That video? Insurance policy. He recorded it to flip on me if cornered. Why tell me now? Her voice cracked. 16-year-old armor thinning. Because secrets kill. Victor's using it to divide us. But we're stronger together.
Panama account?
It's bait. Tainted money. He laundered it through Hale. She chewed her lip.
Processing. So. What?
We burn it all. I smiled. First real one in weeks. Burn?
Nah.
We expose. But smart. You in. Hesitation. Then nod.
Alliance Reborn.
Forged in fire. We escalated. Emily. Tech-savvy kid. Digitized the floppies. Cross-referenced with Rico's files. I leaked to the reporter, anonymous drop at a diner. Manila envelope fat with evidence. The story broke Sunday. Scottsdale developers' dark past. Ties to missing man's fraud. Victor's face on the front page. Looking like a kicked dog. Panic rippled. His campaign imploded, endorsements yanked.
Debates dodged.
Emily's phone blew up. Voicemails from his staff. Pleading. Then furious. She deleted them. But one slipped through. Victor himself. Emily. Darling. This is a mistake. Your mother's manipulating you. Come to the office. We'll fix it. She played it for me. Voice trembling. He's losing it. Good. Means he's desperate. But danger loomed. Rico warned. Hale's cornered animals bite. Watch your backs. We did. Deadbolts checked. Cars parked under lights. Yet normalcy frayed. Emily's grade slipped. Friends ghosted amid the scandal. At dinner, she'd poke at her food, eyes distant. What if we lose everything? The house. School. Worst comes to worst. We rebuild. Like always. But the words rang hollow. My old life flashed, homeless in the end. After her betrayal. Climax brewed in December. Snow flurries mocking the desert's usual blaze. Victor called a summit, neutral ground, a conference room at the Hilton. Bring the originals, he emailed. We settle.
No gaps.
Trap? Maybe. But opportunity. I prepped. Copies stashed with Rico. Lawyer on speed dial. Emily wired with a nanny cam brooch, her idea. Bold as brass. The room was sterile. Fluorescent hum underscoring tension. Victor alone. Sleeves rolled, looking every inch the fallen king.
Delilah.
Emily.
Seat.
We did. Chair scraping like accusations. He slid a folder across. Settlement offer. 200 grand. NDAs for all. Walk away rich. Past stays buried. Emily glanced at me. I nodded. Counter. You confess. On tape. Jack's beating. The cover-up. We get the money clean, yours to donate. Public penance. His laugh barked. Hollow. Blackmail? Classy. Justice. Emily snapped, surprising us both. You preyed on my family. Victor's eyes flicked to her. Softening, predatory. Smart girl. Wasted on her. He lunged, not for me, but the folder, smashing the recorder hidden in Emily's purse. Chaos. Chairs toppling. Shouts echoing. He grabbed her wrist. Twisting. You think you can ruin me? I vaulted the table, slamming a water pitcher into his arm. Crack of glass. Spray of ice. He released her, howling, blood trickling from a shard cut. Security burst in. Tasers drawn. What the? Assault. Victor bellowed. But Emily held up her phone. Backup recording. Crystal clear. Got it all. Asshole. Cops swarmed. Victor cuffed. Sputtering denials. We gave statements. The tape gold-plated evidence. By dawn, he was arraigned fraud. Assault. Old charges resurfacing like zombies. Aftermath crashed like a wave. Media frenzy. Mother-daughter duo topples tycoon. Emily posed for photos.
Tentative smile.
While I fielded calls from publishers, producers. Vindication. But Pyrrhic, our lives dissected. Probation dredged up. Neighbors whispered. But Emily stood tall. Screw 'em, she'd say, echoing my rebirth grit. Christmas came quiet. Just us, trees strung with lights. Take-out tamales. She handed me a gift, leather-bound journal. Write it down. Your story. Our story. Tears pricked, first since waking to this second life. Twist ending.
Huh.
But as we laughed, my phone buzzed, unknown number. Voicemail, Lopez's gravel voice. Hale's talking.
Says you knew more than you let on.
Feds incoming. Watch the mail. Chill settled. The confession hadn't ended it. It had opened Pandora's box. My complicity, those blurred lines with Jack, under scrutiny. Controversial to the core, revenge achieved, but at the price of my own reckoning. Emily noticed my face. What? Nothing. Yet. I pocketed the phone, hugging her tight.
For now. Victory.
Tomorrow, the real storm. New Year's Eve dawned crisp, the rare desert chill biting through my sweater as I sipped coffee on the porch, watching fireworks from distant parties pop like erratic gunfire. Victor's empire crumbled spectacularly, arrests rippling through his firm. Council's seat forfeited. Headlines crowing Desert King's fall. Emily and I were local legends. Cautiously, whistleblower mom and daughter exposed corruption. Book deals pinged my agent, fictionalized. They said, to soften the edges. I demurred. Truth was jagged enough. But Lopez's warning festered. The feds arrived mid-January. 2 suits in off-the-rack navy. Badges glinting like judgment. Mrs. Delaney? Special Agent Ruiz. We need to chat about Jack Delaney's operations. 2004 to 2005. Emily was at school. I invited them in. Kitchen table battlefield. They laid out photos, wire transfers I'd signed, emails with Victor's aliases. You were aware. Possibly complicit. Denial rose, but died on my tongue. Rebirth had honed honesty, however brutal. Complicit? In survival? Yeah. Jack dragged me in, promised it'd end. When it blew, I covered for my daughter. Ruiz leaned forward, eyes kind but unyielding. That's perjury territory. But Hale's flipping, naming names to lighten his load. Yours included. The room spun, echoes of prison bars clanging. In my old life, I dodged deeper charges, plea bargained to probation.
Now?
Full exposure, courtesy of revenge's boomerang.
Controversial calculus, ide tu plata tirant.
But invited the avalanche on myself. Give us something, the other agent pressed. On Hale. We build the case. Maybe leniency. I hesitated, then slid over the Panama Drive, untouched.
Per our pact.
Jack's slush fund. Tied to Victor's laundering. Use it. They took it. Left with nods. Emily came home to my ashen face.
Pieced it together.
They're coming for you? Old sins, I said, pulling her close. But we face them. Together. February blurred into legal limbo, lawyer meetings, depositions where I owned every shady signature, every blind eye. Victor's trial loomed, a circus of suits and subpoenas. Emily testified. Voice steady, he threatened us. Used my dad's death like a weapon. The courtroom hushed, even the judge leaned in. Victor's turn came. Shackled. Venomous. Delilah orchestrated it all, he spat on the stand. Jack's partner in crime. She greenlit the hits. Covered the tracks. Gasps rippled. My lawyer objected, but damage seeped. Emily's eyes met mine across the aisle, doubt flickering. Then steel. She believed me, that was oxygen. The twist hit like lightning mid-trial. A bombshell from forensics, Jack's remains. Unearthed in a remote wash by hikers with metal detectors. Dental records matched. Cause of death. Blunt trauma. Not carjacking. And the weapon? A tire iron from Victor's company fleet. Prints faded but DNA lingering. Victor's. Jury gasped. Prosecution pounced. Premeditated murder. The DA thundered. Victor crumpled. Deal reneged. He confessed in chambers, rage-fueled killing after Jack's threats. Body dumped. Story spun. My complicity? Peripheral, no murder tie. Just fraud. Charges downgraded to misdemeanor restitution. Verdict, guilty on all counts. Victor hauled away in orange. Empire auctioned. We got the house, clean title, part of the settlement and a chunk of the slush fund, donated anonymously to fraud victims' aid. Spring bloomed, literal and figurative. Emily aced finals, scholarship to ASU criminology. She declared, to fight the victors. I sold the story rights. Fictional veil. Proceeds funding her tuition. No prison for me, community service, ironic echo of probation. But the real reckoning was internal. One night, under a full moon silvering the backyard, Emily and I sat by the old doghouse, faded now, relic of a stray we'd fed years back. Remember when Dad got that thing for the mutt? She mused. Said it was executive housing. Laughter bubbled. Cathartic. Then, quiet, Mom. That line you told me about. The doghouse thing. In your dream of the future. My throat tightened. I'd shared fragments of the past life. Testing waters.
Yeah.
What you said before the end.
She squeezed my hand.
Never. I'd never. In that moment, twist resolved, not tragic fall, but redemption's arc. Betrayal's cycle broken, not by vengeance alone, but by truth's scalpel. Controversial? Hell yes. I'd gambled lives.
Bent morals.
Risked it all. But America thrives on second acts, reinvention in the dust. As cicadas hummed, Emily stood, brushing dirt from her jeans. New chapter. Damn right. I rose, arm around her. The doghouse loomed, empty witness. 24 hours from now, not homelessness, but homecoming true, unscarred. We walked inside, door clicking shut on ghosts. Reborn, not just me,
But us.
and in the quiet, I whispered thanks to whatever glitch granted it. The end?
Nah.
Just the reckoning's dawn.